So today I'm gonna make a really easy, simple bread. It's gonna take time to rise, but it's really easy to put together. I got a mixer machine too, which makes it a lot easier. So first thing you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want 3 cups of flour into here, and then you're gonna need some active dry yeast. You're gonna want half a tablespoon of that. You're gonna want to put it in water, about that much, and you're gonna want it to sit in the water for about 5 minutes to get it activated in there. And then while that's doing that, we can start this process. So what I'm gonna use is rosemary. I'm gonna make like kind of an Italian type bread, and you're gonna want about half a tablespoon of that, not too much, but it's gonna give it a nice rosemary flavor. So about like that much. And then you're gonna want a little bit of basil in there. Just a little bit. You don't want to overpower the bread. You just want to give it a little bit of flavor. And then what you're gonna want to do is add a tablespoon, half a tablespoon. I'm gonna do half a tablespoon of garlic. See how it goes. I've never done that before, but what I'm gonna do is get minced garlic and just do half a tablespoon of that. And then see how this bread turns out. I've never added garlic, fresh garlic to it before, so I'm gonna try and do probably about that much, not too much. I don't want to overpower it with the garlic flavor. I want to do about a quarter. I do about a quarter of a tablespoon this time to see how it goes. And then we'll just a little splash of salt in there, and we'll wait for this dry active yeast to finish activating. That's kind of what you're looking for over there when it starts bubbling up a little bit. Let it sit in there for 5 minutes, and then we'll add it to the bread. We'll set up the machine to start turning that, and then we'll add this slowly. So this is kind of the mixer I have. It's a KitchenAid. It's really cool. I use that one, and then I just turn it on low, and then I start getting it blended together like that. And then you want to try and get that blended up, mixed around as good as you can. So that's kind of what you want to do, get it all mixed around, and then that's kind of what it looks like. You can see that it kind of created bubbles and stuff. I would give it a little stir around first, then pour it out. And then, I'll go ahead and add this one in here. That's kind of what you're looking for, and then you're going to want to let it rise for at least an hour or an hour and a half. You're going to want to cover it with a wet paper towel so it doesn't dry out. So I'd get like a cloth towel or get a napkin or something just to cover it up, and let it sit in the sun for about an hour, hour and a half till it needs to rise double that size before you can cook it. So that's about the size of the bread or the dough after it's been, I let it sit for about 2 hours in the sun, and it doubled, probably even a little bit more than that in the sun. I put little indents in there. I'm gonna try that out, see if that helps the bread cook better. But I preheated the oven for 375 And once it gets a temperature, I'm gonna put it in there for 15 minutes, check it, and then put it in there for another 15 minutes if it needs it. I'm gonna pull it out once it gets about a golden brown color, and then let it set. When you let it set, it's gonna also cook a little bit more. So I wouldn't put it in there too long, just long enough to get a little color and pull it out and let it cook a little bit longer in the pan. So that's about what it looks like about 10 minutes in. We're gonna wanna let it cook a little bit longer until it gets a little bit more color on the top of it, and we'll pull it out. It's gonna cook a little bit more once we pull it out as well. That's kind of how my rosemary bread turns out. Looks like it's pretty good. It's got nice look to it. It's soft, and it turned out pretty good. And what I like to do is I get oil and vinegar, balsamic vinegar. Usually I didn't have any today, so I'm gonna use red wine vinegar and oil and salt and pepper. And then I just dip the bread into there, and I'll eat it that way. You can eat it plain, or you could put butter on there, eat it as a roll. But this recipe, you can do all kinds of things with it. You can make calzones, you can make all kinds of pizza, add different ingredients in there. I like to add rosemary for sure. It gives it a nice flavor. But yeah, that's kind of how I make my bread. It's pretty good. I'd give it a try. I put it in the oven for about, I think it was 25 minutes, and then I pulled it out. You gotta let it cool on the countertop for a little bit before you start messing with it too much. And then make sure you oil the pan pretty good so it don't stick to the pan. And then just get a spatula and try and get it lifted from the pan. And then it should turn out pretty good. We're gonna give it a try.